Is that war? War never changes.
Fallout is more than just an adaptation. Fallout is not an adaptation of the world, it's an extension of it. Hear me out in this. I was looking forward to this show. I was excited for it. Like most people, I played the games, I enjoy the world, I think it's interesting and cool, and I thought there were some good names and some exciting people behind this. And obviously look forward to where this was going and what was going to happen with it. What do I mean though it's an extension of the world? Video game adaptations have been, to put it bluntly, it has taken us a long time to get to the level where we respect a video game as an art form that it currently is being respected as. And you look at the past of previous video game adaptations to come out in the world and you really understand that. I think fundamentally they struggle to work on the big screen. And I think that comes down to the people who have made it and how they have chosen to make it. You see, anytime somebody tries to adapt a video game in the past, they bring the characters in, create a new story, and ignore the world that exists within the plethora of media behind it already. Uncharted, don't bring up that movie. I will, if somebody brings up the movie, I will fall out with them.
He said it!
I will fall out with them.
There it is!
That's not how they met. This is how they met.
Subway, where winners eat!
I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that movie. Really don't want to get into that movie. But look at previous iterations in the past recent years of video game adaptations that have been successful. You have the Mario movie and the Sonic movie. They have been box office hits and have been fairly received critically, I think, but they work more traditionally for what they were going for. They're kind of animated films in a way, and family-friendly orientated stories, and it works, no doubt, for those characters, but in the grand scheme of things, they aren't truly exceptional video game adaptations to me. They're just well-done ones. And that is the thing with cinematic video game adaptations to me, is that every time they try to adapt it, they try to do their own thing with it and ignore what already exists in that world of those characters. And most video game adaptations now are these huge summer blockbusters that are proving to be entertaining films nonetheless. The next example that's common is obviously the Borderlands film, which is probably going to be an exciting movie and one that many people will enjoy, and I'll probably see and have fun with it, but I don't think it'll be a profound piece of cinema that sticks with a lot of people past the ticket price, which it's going to do what it needs to do and it's going to do that job, and that's fair enough. But then we go to TV, and TV has been different with video games. TV naturally, when adapting a video game, works because they're both longer forms of content. Condensing a 16 to 20 hour game into a 2 to 2.5 hour film, that's difficult. Adapting it to TV though, that works. You have to look at examples like The Last of Us being the biggest probably, and was considered the greatest adaptation to video games ever. It worked. It's a story that works for television. You could adapt it with a great writer-director combo for a 2 to 2.5 hour film, yes, but it wouldn't have the same impact as the game. Having that 9 or 8 hours or 10 hours, however long the series was, to bring that story to life worked effectively more as a television program. But Fallout's different. Yes, Fallout is an adaptation of a video game, don't get me wrong, but Fallout as a series is an extension. This TV show exists as part of the world, and that's an achievement within itself. And I think something that video games, when being adapted, should naturally come and should be embraced more. And there's so many things in this show that make it such a successful extension of that. And I'm going to get into them now without a doubt. I don't know who you would call the showrunner on this. I think it's Jonathan Nolan is the showrunner. He's directed several episodes and has been a lead producer, but he hasn't written any of the episodes, I don't believe. But he seems to be sort of the forefront figurehead of this story. As well as the lead writers, I have their names here. One of them has a really long name, so I'm just going to read them from my phone, my notes. Chaz Hawkins, Geneva Robertson Dorette, I believe is how you say her name, and Graham Wagner. They have created this series and have done an exceptional job of bringing it to a wider audience and making it an effective story within the Fallout world that can appease the fans of the games. The way they've brought it to a new modern audience is so simple but so effective, and that is by the character played by Ella Purnell. Okie dokie, I love that. I love that addition to her character. But she is a vault dweller, and she comes to the surface and experiences the wasteland for the first time. And through her, that is where a new audience that has not previously played the games or has no experience with Fallout whatsoever can get introduced to the wasteland slowly and surely. They could have threw everything in here. They could have threw all the shit at you. They could have threw death claws and everything and all that stuff. But they don't. They pace it and they let you experience the wasteland slowly but surely, just like how you would if you were playing a Fallout game. And that is also the interesting thing about the Fallout adaptation, is that there is no character, so allowing it to be this extension of the world in the Fallout world is so natural because the character is you, and that allows for it to be created like that. And that is why this story is so compelling and why they had so much freedom in a way. I'm going to get into my favorite character now though. Walter Goggins, the ghoul, my guy. This is what... new personality loaded. It's in my brain now. What a great character. I've always been a fan of Walter Goggins. He's sort of slowly but surely established himself, and this role truly feels like his moment, and it really feels like he cares about this character and making this character's story so moving and effective. He is great here, and the character is so fantastic and so fascinating to follow. And then there's Maximus as well, who is another interesting dynamic to the show. The way that works with all three characters is that they're all very, very different. The ghoul is 200 years old and has seen it all, done it all. He's experienced the wasteland. He knows the crack. Maximus, he's sort of emotionless and not really connected with the world and not really connected with the human side of himself. He's kind of a machine in a way. And I've seen people kind of criticize his performance, but I think it works fantastically for this character and what the character is within the world. And then Ella Purnell is just immense. She is the core of this series. She is the heart of it in a way. And to see her whimsical naivety be corrupted by the wasteland is so fitting for the world of Fallout. And that's another praise I want to give this show, is the world. The world is fantastically adapted. The production design here is brilliant, and the creation of just all these iconic things in it from Fallout to live action would always be a risk, but to do it so smoothly and effortlessly is... The vaults are so intrinsically designed, and the power armors look amazing. They easily could have CGI'd them, and I love the fact that they're actual practical power armors. It looks great. And that's another thing I have to give praise to this show, is that a lot of it could have been CGI, but they really focus on using practicals as much as they can, and it looks great. The ghouls could have been CGI, but they use heavy makeup. As I said, the power armors, obviously there's stuff that has to be CGI, you know, that's evident, but the stuff that they can make practical, they do, and I respect that, and I really enjoy that. There's so much I can get into in this show. There's so much that's brilliantly done. This season serves as a perfect setup for the continuation of the show and for where it can go. I'm going to get into the narrative here, and I'm going to get into some spoilers with the narrative, because I can't not. So if you don't want the show spoiled, I would click off now. I'll finish it for those people who haven't seen it yet and don't want it spoiled. If you're a fan of the game, I would highly, highly recommend this show. It is a fantastic adaptation of Fallout. If you haven't experienced Fallout before, I would still recommend it, because there's still so much to unpack in this world. And if this is your first introduction to it, I think it does it so effortlessly. And I would encourage people who are now interested in it to explore it more, because there's so much to this world that this show really just scratches the surface. And I think this is a great series. Really good. But narrative spoilers. The ending of this show is crazy in the context of the world of Fallout. Vault Tech dropping the bombs. Boom. That's a big reveal. That's a big reveal. Crazy big reveal. Mr. Todd Howard, I don't know why he sanctioned this for it to be in his TV show instead of one of the games, but fair play to him. The ending of the series is great. The plot twist is very well done and very effective. I think this show has a great core mystery, and it really builds itself well around that and subtly links all the characters to this core mystery very effectively. You know, Maximus being part of the bomb that went off, Ella Purnell, her mother as well, being affected by the bomb that went off, and then the ghoul being there when it all began and being so closely connected to the beginning of it all. That's so effectively and brilliantly executed. This is just a great storyline, and one that fits the world of Fallout so brilliantly. And I think is something that a lot of people can consume and digest and enjoy, that's just great. That's not something you get often with video game adaptations. I do think this show has room to grow, has room to breathe, and has room to develop. The ending teasing New Vegas is so exciting, really exciting, as we haven't seen that since the game. And there's so much to this world that's still left to explore that I can only see this show going up and getting better. I don't know where else they're going to go, but I look so excitedly towards where else they're going to go. One thing that does worry me about this is the show's longevity. I kind of feel like at the minute it's set up for a 2-season storyline, and then whenever that's resolved, where do you go after that? But that's going to be an issue for later on down the line. Right now, this show is going to become a must-watch. To me, it is a must-watch, and I would jump on this bandwagon before this show gets huge, because I think it will inevitably. Great series, really solid adaptation. If I had to give it some criticisms, I would say that not all storylines, narratives match perfectly. There is, to me, the Ghoul is the most interesting storyline, and whenever we would shift away from him and focus on other characters, I wouldn't be as invested, which is always a struggle with shows that have big casts. So that's something that I think they can improve on, but it's not something that detracts from the experience of watching the show. I also think there's some pacing issues here and there, but nothing too major that throws you off. I think it's shot well and looks nice. The production design's good. The performances are good. The music's good. I think this is just a great series, and I'd recommend it to anybody looking for something to watch. So yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, please. I'll see you when I see you.